As a piano teacher, I, Karin van Toren van muziekonderwijs ECHA, noticed that underachieving students experience positive side effects of the piano lessons. The lessons increase their self-confidence, they dare to make mistakes, become more perseverant and start to develop a growth mindset. Therefore, they no longer avoid challenges but dare to begin with complex challenges pieces of music which help them in the learning process. Underachievement is a difficult, complex problem. Maybe instrumental music education can be part of the solution, especially for children with no suitable lesson offer, who don't get the opportunity to learn, or for children who are afraid to make mistakes and have performance anxiety. As Whittam and Helm say, during extracurricular activities such as playing a musical instrument, children develop very high levels of intrinsic motivation and make long periods of practicing for the joy of playing. Emerick too says that these activities help students to overcome underachievement so they achieve better academic results. Meanwhile, there has been quite a bit of research on the development of cognitive skills as added value of music education, but not so much on its value for the non-cognitive skills. It is known, however, that this has a big contribution to the improvement of academic achievement. Mindset, motivation, perseverance and self-confidence are skills that can be developed during the learning process to play a musical instrument. As Gallagher says, highly gifted children that underachieve have a lack of self-confidence, perseverance and purposefulness. And Goodman and Schoen say, non-cognitive skills are determining factors for the attitude to learning, mindset, self-control and perseverance. Thus, the importance of non-cognitive skills to reverse underachievement of highly gifted children is well known. But there is still a lot to explore about the development of non-cognitive skills by learning to play a musical instrument and the positive effect on underachievement and academic results. So the main question is, can music education serve as a tool to prevent or reverse underachievement of gifted children? There are two questions that need to be answered to find out. What is the added value of instrumental music education, and can this added value function as a tool to reverse underachievement? The research strategy that fits best is a grounded theory approach, which centers around research by experience instead of by theory or hypothesis. The experience leads to a theory, and this research consists of 5 different phases. The explorative phase, to explore the research area, specification phase in which themes are determined, development phase in which a questionnaire is developed based on the obtained data and literature, integration phase in which the development survey is deployed in order to arrive at an overall picture, and last but certainly not least, the final phase. In a preliminary investigation, the research area is explored to figure out relevant themes. An online questionnaire with open questions was analyzed and open coded with Atlas-TI. After coding, 5 sensitizing concepts were captured. That is, motivation, experience, practice, motivation child and motivation from teacher during the lessons. I will emphasize only 2 concepts, experience and practice. The experience went from perseverance, deal with frustration, to relaxation and self-confidence. And within the concept practice, parents spoke of struggle, frustration and take effort. Methods of exercise depends on the teacher, the degree of autonomy, learning how to learn, the feedback and the incentive of the teacher, but certainly also of the parents and the environment. The recurring themes within the concept were challenge and non-cognitive skills such as mindset, deal with mistakes, motivation and perseverance. Also, the development in relation with education of learning to learn, take effort and accept challenge. These themes are also part of the themes within underachievement, when there is no suitable teaching, high potential is overrated and avoidance behavior out of self-protection. Emerick says, extracurricular activities have a positive effect on achievement. The occurring subjects within underachievement are the same as the experienced subject within the extracurricular activity of learning to play a musical instrument. So, it should be possible to use instrumental music education to reverse underachievement. Based on an initial analysis, the recurring subjects and prior knowledge from the literature, a questionnaire was developed with a 5-point Likert scale and several open questions for clarification. Data collection was based on musical students' interviews taken in the form of a mainly closed-type questionnaire. Questions were aimed at eliciting relevant information of music students at 2 areas: experience challenge of learning in regular music education and experience improvement of non-cognitive skills by music education. The questions and thesis focused on the perspective and the experience of highly gifted children between 9 and 11 years old. There were 108 participants, of which 94.6 had private music lessons, 32.6 played the piano and 70.4 played the violin. The purpose of this study is to investigate the possibility of music education to be part of the solution for underachieving highly gifted children. Therefore, the first sub-question must be answered. Do highly gifted children experience difference between regular and music education in relation to challenge as a way to learning? First, challenge is defined so it's known what this means for the participants. For the majority, 73.1, challenge is something for what you really have to persevere, for what you really have to take effort. To answer this first sub-question, there are actually 2 questions that need to be answered to find out. Do highly gifted children experience difference between challenge in regular and music education? And how is this experience related to a way of learning? The perceived difference in challenge is mainly visible in the challenge offered and the perseverance. 18% more agree or completely agree in music education compared to regular education that exactly the right challenge is being offered. Compared to regular education, 34% has to persevere more in music education in order to get something done. Challenge as an opportunity to learn is of course expressed in perseverance, but certainly also in own work pace and the necessary use of competencies. The feeling that something has really been learned applies to the music lessons for 24 more in comparison to school lessons. So, the experience difference between offered challenge and how this is related to learning is clear for now. We can go to the second sub-question. Do highly gifted children experience improvement of their non-cognitive skills by instrumental music education? As you already heard, mindset, motivation, perseverance and self-confidence are skills that can be developed during the learning process to play a musical instrument. Now it's time to explore the development of non-cognitive skills by learning to play a musical instrument, and later on we shall see which positive effect this has on underachievement and the academic results. In order to answer the second sub-question, the answers to questions about possible effects and the additional benefits of learning to play an instrument were collected. Of course, the biggest benefit is being able to relax and having fun playing a musical instrument. As an added benefit, 76.8 of the participants indicated that they are more committed when their own goals could be determined, and 87.8 agreed or completely agreed that they experienced that by making an effort you could improve your skills. With the answers on the first 2 sub-questions, the third last sub-question can be answered. Is it possible that the added value of instrumental music education can be a potential tool to improve academic results and reverse underachievement. Regarding the previous research results in relation to the added value of instrumental music education, it can be seen that the offered challenge and the need to persevere is more present in music education. The relationship between effort and performance is made, while a large majority say they improve their skills when they take effort. This is a very important factor to reverse underachievement. 37.4% say they feel they learn to learn by playing an instrument, while the feeling of really having learned something in music education is 24% bigger. 58% indicate that when something does not work out at school, that they now continue to know or be able to learn the lesson material. Finally, two other indicates benefits are deal with mistakes while playing a musical instrument gave 49% the feeling that it felt easier to give a presentation or take a turn. And 54 indicates their self-confidence has increased as a result of learning to play a musical instrument. So, is it possible that the added value of instrumental music education can be a potential tool to improve academic results and reverse underachievement? Competencies may be shown because challenges are offered during the music lesson, which requires perseverance. A meaningful challenge, confidence in one's own competence, and the feeling that the effort matters ensures that the participants show what they can do. Since music lessons are usually given privately, it is easier to let the music students work at their own pace, to give exactly the right challenge and to give work or to let them choose for themselves what the competences should really be used for. It is experienced that non-cognitive skills improved through music education by learning to persevere, making mistakes is no longer experienced as terrible, and by putting effort into something you can make improvements, which may refer to growth mindset. The research does not immediately show that music education improves academic results. On the other hand, perseverance, making mistakes, understanding the relationship between effort and result, improving self-confidence and greater commitment to one's own goal is visible. Elements to improve motivation to take on the challenge, to get or stay in motion, and better performance. So music education could be a tool to improve academic performance. It is not possible to determine whether academic performance improves through music education, because no pre- and post-testing has been done. It is unknown how the students unfold, what type of education is followed, and how musical development is progressing. It is possible to conclude that instrumental music education could be a tool to improve academic performance, because it appears that factors that contribute to academic performance can be developed through music education. In this study, a start has been made to investigate an alternative intervention against underachieving. During this study, it is clear that several variables influence the results. In future research, it is therefore recommended that these variables are taken into account, but also how one reacts to fast or slow progress and how the home situation copes with practice. To determine the extent to which non-cognitive skills develop with instrumental music education, further research is recommended in which the circumstances are as equal and verifiable as possible, and pre- and post measurements can take place. By conducting further research into the importance of instrumental music education for gifted children, but also in the way in which lessons are taught and the way in which learned skills can be implemented within regular education, insights can be gained that can lead to an actual intervention in underachievement, in which instrumental music education can be used as a tool. So, thank you very much for your attention. I, Karin van Toor van Muzikaal ECHA, look forward to your thoughts and your questions. Thank you.